What is going on, tribe? It's your man Clef, and this is the Social African Show. You already know it's the Social African Show, where we chop it up with entrepreneurs of African origin. And today, we've got none other than my sister, Tokunbo Koiki, is in the building, tribe.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
What is going on, Tokunbo? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Claire?
I'm very well. Thanks for doing this. It's such an honor having you on the show. Are you ready to rock?
I am so ready. I was born ready.
Let's do it. Now, for those who don't know, Tokunbo Koiki is a chef and the founder of Tokunbo's Kitchen, which is a catering company based in London that provides food lovers with authentic Nigerian cooking.
Yes.
They do this through pop-ups and unique events. Tokunbo's work has also been featured in the BBC as one of the pioneers of the movement of bringing African food to the world.
Yes.
Tokunbo. Yes. I've given the tribe, yes. I've given the tribe a little bit about you.
Yeah.
Let's take it away and talk about your African heritage and a bit about your personal life. But we're going to step out of the kitchen now and do that in a more relaxed environment. So let's go. Right, so Tokunbo, in the kitchen, I gave the tribe a little bit about you. Take it away. Let's talk a bit about your personal life and a bit about your African heritage as well.
Okay, well, I'll start off with my name. So Tokunbo, for the people that don't know, is from the Yoruba language, from the Yoruba tribe in Nigeria, and it actually literally translates to somebody or something that came from over the seas. Because I was born right here in London, in Camden Town, North London girl. But when I was a baby, my mom took me back to Nigeria, and I lived in Nigeria for the first 9 years of my life.
Oh, wow.
And so that experience kind of really shaped my taste bud and, you know, my love of Nigerian cuisine. So even when I came back to London as a child, going to school and, you know, having to eat school dinners was a struggle for me.
I can imagine.
All that blandness, I was not about that life. And, you know, and I remember when I was about 12, my mom literally forcing me into the kitchen.
Right.
And I remember that age because she told me she started cooking for her family when she was 8 years old.
Right.
So I was already 4 years behind. So that age kind of permanently stuck into my head. So for me, cooking is something that I've always done. But growing up, I actually saw cooking as a chore. You know, it was something that I did with the expectation that I was going to cook for a family one day.
Okay.
But the one thing that I always did was, if I liked a particular dish, I would learn to cook it to perfection.
Yes.
So one of my favorite stew is ilasekwo, which is okra stew.
Oh, wow.
And I make such great ila that my mom would always, like, anytime we had guests over, my mom would be like, have you tasted Tokunbo's ila?
Oh, wow.
And the person would be like, no, I haven't. So I'd have to go into the kitchen and cook ila and okra stew for this guest. And, you know, they would love it. So for me, that thing of feeding people and saying how happy that my food made them kind of was something I'd always enjoy. So, so I came back to London when I was 9. I did I did the rest of my primary school, secondary school, university, everything in London. But I'd always had this aspiration to move back to Nigeria, which I thought was home. And, you know, and also I'd always visited Nigeria since I was 18. So for me, Nigeria was home. You know, England was just somewhere that I was going to make the money and then, you know, go back home and use my skills and the expertise that I'd gotten from living and working in London to kind of help Nigeria develop.
I see.
And then I moved back to Nigeria, and then I got a culture shock of life, and I realized I was quite British in the way that I thought, in my outlook on life, and also just, you know, there's certain things about Nigeria that I just was like, this doesn't make sense. What is going on?
So, like, as an adult, you saw it differently from obviously when you were a child. That's crazy. So let's talk about food. Tokunbo's Kitchen. Like I said to you in the pre-chat, I see the pictures of the food on Instagram, and I instantly think to myself, wow, this looks fantastic. I could taste the jollof rice just by looking at it. Right. So what you do is awesome, and for that I salute you.
Thank you.
How did your childhood shape? You talked about mom pushing you in the kitchen when you were a lot younger, when you were 12, right?
Yes.
How did your childhood shape your passion for food and your passion for, let's put that differently, because you did mention you're not a foodie per se, but how did it shape your passion for wanting to put smiles on people's faces using Nigerian cuisine?
Well, like I said, so because for me, my early taste buds was shaped by Nigerian flavors. Growing up, I always loved Nigerian food. You know, if I had the option, I would eat Nigerian food every day.
Wow. Like me.
You know, the only other cuisine that I would find that was close enough to Nigeria in terms of giving me like a taste exposure was Thai cuisine.
Okay.
And I remember as an adult, you know, going to other people's houses, because like I assumed that everybody had the same experience that I did, which was every African girl child learned how to cook.
Right.
And then I would go to friends' house, and even the ones that said they could cook, once I tasted the food, it was like, But the time when my outlook to food actually changed was when I was living in Washington, D.C. 5 years ago. And I remember, in fact, I actually sent my friend that I made in D.C. a message this morning because my time off reminded me that we had our first date, which was we went to a Ghanaian restaurant together. And this was like 2 weeks after I got to D.C. And, you know, she befriended me. And what I remember about being in D.C. was food was the focal point of my time out there. You know, we used to go for brunch. You know, I remember going to like get pancake at 4 o'clock in the morning after going clubbing. And also, whenever I was feeling homesick, you know, I would cook and I would invite people around to come and eat.
So that's how it all...
So that's how it was. But there was one particular experience that really was the catalyst for what then became Tokunbo's Kitchen. At the time, I didn't realize it because it was just like a normal thing. A friend came by unexpectedly and he was hungry. And at the time, I didn't have that much food at home. But I was like, you know what, I've got some plantain and I've got some eggs. So I'll fry you some eggs. And, you know, I like to put things in my eggs. So I cook egg with like king prawns, sardine, onions, tomatoes. And I remember serving him the food and literally sitting there watching him devour this meal like I just served him a 3-star, 3-course Michelin food. And that was when the light bulb moment went for me. That made me realize that my food can make somebody happy.
That's crazy.
So, you know, I'd go to events and I'd go to festivals and there'll be no African food. And I remember 2015, I went to see Femi Kuti perform at a free event in Walthamstow. And lucky for me that I'd actually seen Femi perform in DC because I didn't get to see Femi perform that day. Because I was queued up for 2 hours waiting for jerk chicken to be ready. And that same evening, July 15, 2015, I went home and I Googled how to start a street food business. And that was what launched what now became Tokunbo's Kitchen.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, thanks for doing that because you're telling stories and you're taking us through the journey. So let's keep that going. Now, you seem to be doing quite a bit with the Tokunbo's Kitchen. So you're a chef, obviously you do the cooking. What other arms do you do? You do some catering and training and all of that stuff as well?
So for me, because I'm that one chef who's not foodie and really don't want to be in the kitchen. So what I've actually been doing is I've got one staff that's been working with me for the last 1 year. So I'm literally training him to kind of be the chef in the kitchen. I'm learning my recipes, and one of the things that I'm keen to do in terms of my business is I do a lot of collaborations. So at the moment, I'm actually planning some exciting collaborations. I'm really psyched about. And also just like I'm, you know, and again, initially when I started the business, people would always be like, oh, are you going to open your own restaurant? And my initial reaction was like, no, why would I do that? Like restaurants are like the fastest closing business. You know, I'm not a foodie. I don't want to be a chef. But because I've been doing it for 2 years and the response has been so fantastic, and just seeing that there's still a gap in the London food scene for a company doing or a restaurant providing authentic Nigerian food, with great customer service, with a smile, and also, you know, educating people who are not Nigerians about the food. So what I've decided is, you know, I would love to have a permanent space in Tottenham because I'm a Tottenham girl. And, you know, I have a space where, but it won't just be food, it will be a cultural exposure. So when you come in terms of the tablecloth, in terms of, you know, it will be a cultural immersion. You know, if you want to come into the kitchen and see what suya is, get to know about plantain, I want you to create an experience for people. So
that's awesome, because I can see that with the branding and what you do across social media. You're looking at experiences as opposed to just giving people food. That's why I said sometimes you look at the food and you just taste it in your mouth. That's awesome. Now you're doing the chefing, you're training the new chef, you're planning events going forward. What would you say just now is your area of expertise?
Connecting with people. Connecting with people. So I I was recently at an event on Thursday night, and it was a panel of female chefs and foodies.
Oh, wow.
And every single one of them was like, you should go into this business if food is your passion and you're passionate about food. And for me, because I tell people food itself is not my passion, but why my brand has been so successful and why I'm good at what I'm doing is because I love connecting with people.
Right.
When you guys came in earlier, I was talking to a couple of customers.
You were indeed, yeah.
Who, they were local and they'd ordered some food, and I come out and I serve them the
you just
food.
engage with them.
I engage with them, and turned out they'd eaten Nigerian food. And, we were talking about my experience as a Nigerian, as a British Nigerian, and making that connection with people. That's what I love. I love to engage with people that I ordinarily would not have had the opportunity to engage with. Of course. So for me, I think one of the things that I love doing and what makes people come back to Tokunbo's Kitchen is because they appreciate that human connection that they have. Yes. I'm not just this mysterious chef who's in the kitchen, screaming at everybody and then sending out this amazing food. I'm bringing out amazing food. I'm in the kitchen dancing. I come out to the bar dancing. Wow. And I feel like I'm bringing sunshine to your life, not just on the plate, but through my personality and who I am.
That's crazy. Because these days people tend to buy into the person behind the brand, and I think that's one key to your success. Yeah. What would you say to someone who's looking to build and looking to connect with people but is not connected on a level? What tip would you give them so they can get to where you are?
Just be authentic in who you are. Okay. Don't try to emulate anybody else, but also share your story. So one of the reasons why people really connect with me is because I share the truth and the nitty-gritty of everything. So when it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm at Smithfield Market, I'm Instagramming everybody. Look, whilst you're sleeping, this is me.
I'm out putting in the work.
Also, when things go wrong, I am very frank and open and honest about, things not going right. Because, people need to understand that when you're running a business, it's not just like you start and everything
go well all the time.
It doesn't go well all the time. This time last year, the business was not nearly as successful as where it is now. Good. I was broke. Right. All the events that I was doing. In fact, I did one event where it was so bad, I actually started a thread on Twitter because I remember going to the event. I was told that they were expecting about 200 people. So I cooked for 120 people.
Oh, wow.
I had a staff there, went back home to do some more cooking. By 4 o'clock, she had sold 8 packs of jollof rice. Ooh. And I was like, I'm coming back with another 40 packs of jollof rice. What am I going to do with all this rice? And then I got a plantain ticket that same day. So, and for me, it was like, I almost broke down. So I just went on Twitter. Like, Twitter is for me, is where it's like an outlet. It's where I vent. It's where I share my success. So, for example, Tokunbo's Kitchen is now going to be delivering on Uber Eats.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
So, and one of the missions that I have that I've been tweeting about for the last 2 years is I would love to feed John Boyega. And one of the reasons for that is I remember one day on his Instagram, I used to love him. Like, I love his energy. I love his spirit. I love his
very African.
He's very African. He's proudly African. And one day he woke up and put on Instagram, I'm feeling like eating pounded yam. So since then, I was like, John, come to Tokunbo's Kitchen. I will cook you pounded yam. So now every time I have news to share, so I always tease people on my tweets, on my timeline. I'm like, guess what, guys? I've got exciting news for you. And people always like, oh my God, is it John? So people know. So when John finally comes to my kitchen, the amount of people that will be like, yeah, she did it. Like, you've been putting it out there. So for me, my advice would be, be authentic in who you are. Share your story. Connect to people. Let people inside. Don't just be an anonymous face. Even if you're camera shy. I mean, I understand that not everybody has the energy that I have. Not anybody's able to be comfortable in front of the camera. But if you want to be successful in building your brand, you have to get rid of that.
Wow, that's deep. So just be yourself and put it out there, because people like to buy from people. That's crazy. Now, the entrepreneurship game, you've been doing your thing. Like I said, you're doing your thing on a level, and for what you do, I salute you, my sister.
Thank you.
It's up and down sometimes, the entrepreneurship game. Let's talk about a low point. Let's talk about life in general, because obviously everything you've gone through has led to where you are today. What's been a low point that you can look at and think, now wow.
Where do I start? So for me, from a young age, I was, doing that, traveling around the world, buying and selling, and also helping my mom in doing like cabs and so in the UK.
Right.
So I always kind of seen the highs and lows of entrepreneurship. And personally, it wasn't something that I ever aspired to, because it was just like, it was always something that I saw as a side gig.
Okay.
So when I started the kitchen, I was actually still doing locum work as a part-time work as a social worker. And it got to the point where I decided, so when I started in 2015, myself and my daughter were actually homeless. And we were staying with my mom.
No way.
Yeah, and I remember shortly before I started the business, I'd actually saved some money to go rent my own place. And I was finding it difficult because I didn't have a full-time job, so it was really difficult to get landlords who would want to rent their property to me. And the business idea was in my head. So I remember having a conversation with a friend, and I said to him, look, I've got this money saved up. It's either I use it to try and find a place or start a business. And his advice to me was like, look, start a business. I know you want to get out of your mom's place, but why not go through the homeless route, which I had already done a couple of times previously in my life, and I really didn't want to do. But at the time, I just thought, you know what, my daughter is growing up. We need our own space. Can't stay with my mom forever. So in September 2015, my first major event, which was Africa Utopia Festival at the South Bank, we were actually staying at an hostel, at an emergency hostel in North London. So it was and that just kind of again, it was like, because I built up resilience over my life. It was just one of those things where, just because I'm homeless doesn't mean I can't do what I'm doing. So I just had to I used to go cook at my mom's place, do what I needed to do, and then we spent 6 weeks in the hostel, and then we were moved to a bed suit.
Oh, I see.
And we were in the bed suit for about over a year, and we had a lot of problems there. And again, I tweeted about this recently because for me, I want other people to understand that you don't have to have everything in place for you to do what you need to do. You can start where you are with what you have. So for me, being able to build my kitchen when I started the business was about this size. I cooked for over 100 people in that space.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. But
deep. That's deep. So you've gone from the low, and you've told us how you've taken steps to build to where you are now. Now you're calling people, and people are saying yes, and the BBC even called to say, yo, let's get you on the show. That is awesome. Now you've turned that around. Let's talk about the flip side. Let's flip it around and talk about a proud entrepreneurial moment. I know the BBC, you've got this going on, and you've got things planned. What would you say has been the proudest, your proudest entrepreneurial moment so far?
I think it was probably last year when I got an invitation to come to New York to be part of the New York African Restaurant Week.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So actually, when I got the call, I was at the Green Room. It was July, and I remember sitting over at that bench with my partner that I was working with at the time. And I remember he called me, and it was like, Tokunbo, are you coming to New York in October? And I was like, Aki, are you going to send me a ticket? And he was like, yes. And I was like, okay. And that was it. So for me, I was like, hey, so I got flown to New York. I got to work and meet with amazing chefs from all over the world. I actually got to work at the Trump Tower.
No way.
At an event feeding the president of Tanzania. So that was
the president of Tanzania. Oh, you're hearing it now. You need to say that loud, Tokunbo. You can't just breathe past that. Wow. Well done.
So I worked with Chef Pierre Chem, who is an amazing Senegalese chef who's based in New York, has opened 2 restaurants of his own, and now does catering events for dignitaries all over the world. And so he invited me to work with him at the Trump Tower, and the event was for the president of Tanzania. So that
is amazing.
So that was like,
you should be super proud. You should be super proud, my sister. That's awesome. Now, like I said, it all stems back to what you said, putting in the work, because these people don't just call you just for the sake of, you need to put in the work and sort of back what you do. That's crazy. Like I said, super proud of you, my sister. Keep doing what you're doing. And again, for what you do, I salute you. Like I said, I've seen the food, and I'm definitely going to try the food because I can't wait. I'm just like, this food, I try it. The jollof rice, the plantains, like I said, for what you do, I salute you. The energy's on the level. I'm buzzing talking to you just now. What's one thing that you've got going on that's got you buzzing and excited right now?
I would definitely say, so last year, when I started doing supper clubs, so for people that don't know, a supper club is like Come Dine With Me. For people who are familiar with that TV series, it's basically like a pop-up restaurant where I would design a menu, and then I would basically invite people. And so the first supper club that I did were called Food is Ready, Oya Come Chop. Because in Nigeria, Oya means it's
let's
time.
Go, let's go,
and then chop is eat. And so for me, that was like my invitation to say food is ready,
Oya come chop.
Oh yeah, come chop. So this year, I decided my conversation series is for females, female entrepreneurs, or professional women who are aspiring to get into business entrepreneurship. And so this International Women's Day that I'm doing, I mean, Claire, the way everything is coming along. After this, I'm actually meeting with the lady who's going to be hosting the show.
Oh wow!
And she works at Facebook.
Oh, I see.
So there's a possibility we might even be doing that event at Facebook.
That's crazy. Oh, fingers crossed for you. Like I said, it's all the hard work that you're putting in.
Exactly.
It is paying off. And for what you do, I know I keep saying it because I've seen what you do, and I'm a little biased because you're my sister. But I mean, what you do is on a level, and for that, I salute you again. Now, Tokunbo, it's time to take you straight into the lion's den. Are you ready, my sister?
I was born ready.
All right, let's do this.
The lion should be afraid.
You already know this. Now, it's just quick fire questions. I'll throw them at you as you come back. We'll put the lions to bed. The first question: what is the best African saying you've ever heard?
Until the lion learns to speak, the story will always glorify the hunter.
That's deep. Give us some context around that.
Okay, so it's a very old African proverb, but the time when I heard it again and it kind of stayed with me was at the TEDx Houston in 2012, and it was actually the British Ghanaian broadcaster, Kamla Dumont, who actually sadly passed away a couple years later. And so at the beginning, so it was part of his TEDx talk, and I remember when he said it, for me, because one of the things I'm very keen about in terms of, even doing Tokunbo's Kitchen is, I feel like us Africans, whether in the diaspora or in the motherland, we need to take shape of our own narrative. So in terms of whether it's our food, whether it's our culture, whether it's our music, if we are not telling our stories the way it's meant to be told, somebody else will come and tell us what jollof rice is.
True.
So if we don't, I mean, when Jamie Oliver did his own interpretation of jollof rice,
it wasn't quite the African
thing. Jamie Oliver's jollof rice is the first thing that comes up. And that to me is what that proverb is trying to tell us, that because we were like being passive in not sharing jollof rice and not sharing our food, not sharing our culture.
We're being the lions.
We were being the lions, and then the hunters, the Western world, were coming along and saying, well, okay, this is how it's going to be. This is how Africa is. And it's like, no. So even that saying, African food, I'm always challenging that. I'm like, there is no such thing. We never talk about European food. We never talk about American food, but again, it's always contextual. Why are we talking about African food? The food that we eat in Nigeria, the food that I eat as a Yoruba is completely different to the food that people eat in Delta States.
True.
So why are we talking about African food?
Yes, you can't generalize that, can you?
So I always tell people, I'm doing Nigerian food that's specific to the tribe of Nigeria that I grew up from. That's
deep. I'm going to link that up and put quotes all over that, man. That's super deep. Now, before you build a brand, we touched on it earlier with, the things that happened and how you overcame that to build a strong brand, Tokunbo's Kitchen. Before you built the brand, what was holding you back?
What was holding me back was, to be honest, Claire, and some people might think this sounds a bit conceited or a bit arrogant. I think what was holding me back was not wanting to fully step into my power. And I remember I was working with a coach a couple of years ago, and one of the questions that he asked me was, is the life that you're living the life that you intend for yourself, or the life that other people have intended for you?
That's a deep question.
It was a deep question because it actually made me really think. And at the time I realized that actually no, the life that I was living at that time was the life that was made because of other people's things. So for example, my marriage breaking down, that was because of things that were outside my control, things that he did. And then because of that, my life then took a trajectory that I didn't plan for.
I see.
I didn't plan to be a single mom, but then suddenly I was a single mom. I didn't plan to not have a job, and suddenly, I was homeless and I didn't have all of this in place. And then I decided that actually, until I took ownership of my life, I always tell people, one day I woke up and I felt like my life was like a bad Nollywood story, like it was like a bad Nollywood film. Even now, like when I tell people about some of the experiences that I have had, they look at me and they're like, how did you cope with that? And I realized that, well, if I'm going to be the star of a Nollywood film, let me be in charge of that.
You want to be actor?
Let me be the actor, director, producer. Let me take shape of the narrative of my life and determine the life that I want, not just for myself, but for my daughter. So everything that I'm doing, I make a conscious decision. So now I tell people, you know, all the things that's happening for me is because I'm now stepping into my power. I'm stepping into my greatness. I'm like, look, this is who I am, and you know, I have something to give the world, and it might not be for you, it might not be for you, but for the right person, that person will get that message.
They will get it. That's crazy. So you would say it was basically life, you know, that held you back. That's awesome. Now we've connected on social media, on Instagram. I see what you do. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. You should check out Instagram out. The photos are talking to you. You can taste the jollof rice just by looking at it. So social media, did you do a lot across social? Because you mentioned Twitter as well.
Oh my God. I tell people Twitter is actually, I needed to make money from social media because before I started this business, Twitter was my addiction.
Oh, wow.
Twitter was like my addiction. I remember years before I started Tokunbo's Kitchen, because I was always in the kitchen and I was always sharing pictures of my food on Instagram and stuff. So even at the time when Tokunbo's Kitchen started, many of my followers were like, well,
we already know.
We already knew. You've been teasing us with your food pictures for all this time. So it makes sense that you start a kitchen.
There's Twitter, there's Instagram, and obviously you're doing your thing. Which of these would you pick as your preferred social media platform? If you were to pick one.
Just one. I think Twitter, because Twitter is...
I thought you'd say Instagram, you know.
Instagram is good for the business in terms of I'm able to put my picture out there and stuff. But Twitter is about connections.
So you say you make stronger connections on Twitter. So Twitter's the one for you. Oh wow, that's crazy. That is awesome. Now let's talk daily routines. For me, it's meditation. Wake up in the morning, 10 to 15 every morning without fail. For yourself, Tokunbo, do you have a daily routine that you do that contributes to your success?
I try to have a daily routine, but obviously life being life doesn't always happen. I am very much like you. I am trying to get in touch with my more spiritual side. So meditation is something that I've been into for years. But you know, sometimes I get up and I meditate, sometimes I don't. It's just life.
So that's crazy because your self-awareness there is on a level. You know yourself. That's crazy. Now books. Do you read a lot of books?
Oh my God, I am an avid book reader. I love books.
That's crazy.
Books have shaped my life. You know, I read fiction books, but I also read books about entrepreneurship. You know, I listen to audiobooks. Sometimes I'm listening to an audiobook and reading a book at the same time.
That's crazy.
You know, the last time I was on the tube, on Wednesday morning, and I got on Wood Train Station. As soon as I got on, the guy sitting down had this one of my favorite books. It's called A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini. That book is so amazing. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this book is great. Because when I read Khalid Hosseini's books, I suddenly wanted to go to Afghanistan. I wanted to go to Iran. I wanted to go to Iraq because he was writing about the beauty of those countries and those natures and the culture and those people. He took away the danger of the single story that I saw about Afghanistan, which was like the war-torn country. He let me see the beauty of those countries and ultimately that people are the same all over the world. Like humanity and love and connections are what keeps us all going. So,
that's deep. Wow. And that's the author Khalid Hosseini, and the name of the book was
A Thousand Splendid Suns. He's also the author of The Kite Runner and The Mountain Echoes. But in terms of if you're somebody that you don't deal with emotions easily, I would recommend starting with The Kite Runner. And The Mountain Echoes. But if you want to just delve straight into it, go for A Thousand Splendid Suns.
Awesome. I'll link it all up and get the tribe to check it out. Now, I had no doubt, Tokunbo, but it's my absolute pleasure to let you know you've conquered the lion's den. I told you lions should be afraid. I know. I had no doubt. But, you know, the energy's on a level. I could talk to you forever. You know, it's like, let's keep going. I'm thinking of questions to ask, but all good things, as they say, come to an end. So we'll end it all now with asking the last question on the show. But it's a very deep question. I'd like to get your take on it. And the question is, if you had 24 hours to live just now. Just think, Tokunbo, what would you do?
Okay, now, if I had 24 hours to live and I can do anything, go anywhere, I think I would probably spend half of that time with my daughter.
Oh, wow.
Just kind of like doing things with her in terms of reading a book together, going to the cinema. She loves watching movies, so going to the movies with her, you know, basically letting her know how much I love her. And then the last 12 hours will be Tokunbo's time. And oh my God, I would hop on a plane and probably go to a country like Cuba. I would go dancing. Like I'll put on like, you know, some nice yellow dress because I love yellow. Yellow's my happy place. It's not just my favorite color, but it's my happy place. Put on a yellow dress, put on some high heels, put on some makeup, let the people know that, you know what?
Tokunbo's in town.
Tokunbo's in town. And I would literally paint that town red and I would dance till I drop.
Oh, wow. That is crazy. Now, like I said, it's been an honor having you on the show. For what you do, Tokunbo, I salute you. I'm thinking of questions to ask because I don't want this to end. So, like I said, all good things come to an end. We'll end it all now with you sharing a few words of wisdom and the best way that we can connect with you across social.
The kind of word of wisdom that I would share with everyone is trust yourself. Trust the process and ultimately trust your instincts. When I started my business, I had an idea and a vision for what I wanted the business to be. Other people had their own ideas and they had their own inputs and they had their own suggestions. And sometimes I would go along with those suggestions. And sometimes it worked out and sometimes it didn't. But what I learned was every time I didn't listen to my instinct and I didn't trust what I knew because I ultimately wanted what I wanted for myself, it always went wrong. And even the days when things go wrong, if you're trusting the process, later on in life, you will see the dots connecting. Like I've shared in my story, I can look back now and I'll be like, oh, it was when I was in DC that happened, that this happened, that led to Tokunbo's Kitchen. 5 years ago, I didn't have a clue Tokunbo's Kitchen was going to happen. 5 years' time, I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that it's going to be even more amazing than where I am right now because I am now so in tune with myself, with my power, my greatness, that I am just like, I'm going to create that life. And I might not have a clear idea of the path that I'm going to take to get there, but I know where I'm trying to go to.
That's deep. Thank you for sharing that, Tokunbo. And what's the best way that we can connect with you?
Best way to connect with me, Tokunbo's Kitchen, and Tokunbo is TOKUNBOSKITCHEN, and that's the same at all social media platforms. You can connect with me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and if you want to connect with me on a more personal level, you can connect with me on my personal Twitter handle, and that's ToxicK27, and that's TOKSYK27. And if you want to, you can reach out to me, email me, contact me. I'm always happy to share what I know, what I've learned, and ask any questions, you know, whether it's about food business or any kind of thing that you want to learn. I've learned a lot by asking questions from other people. And when people ask me questions, I'm always happy to share. So please.
That's awesome. Now, Tribe, there you have it. I'll put up all the links and you can connect with Tokunbo. Now, again, for what you do, my sister, I salute you. And hopefully we'll catch up soon. You smashed it.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the platform.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Now I can chop some chin-chin.
Yes, let's see.
I've been waiting to dive into this chin-chin, man. We are trying to chop some chin-chin. They have turned back. Thank you for doing this, Tokunbo.
Oh, thank you.